Racist, homophobic, sexist. These are heavy words that carry a lot of weight and a lot of history. Lately, it feels like we're seeing them everywhere, doesn't it? But have you noticed how they're being used? Today, we're going to talk about how these labels are being weaponized against individuals to publicly shame and abuse them into compliance. Before we dive in, I'm Nicole. I believe we are witnessing a pivotal moment in history, an attempt to stage a communist-style revolution right here in the US, thinly disguised as progressivism. I know, that's a massive claim, but I've laid out the evidence in my other videos, so if you want the deep dive, go check those out. Remember, education is your greatest defense. Now, let's be clear. These words serve a real purpose. They should describe actual harmful beliefs. But there is a disturbing trend where these labels are slapped onto anyone who deviates, even slightly, from a specific party doctrine. When you use a label to shut down a conversation, you aren't looking for progress. You're looking for submission. It's about turning the collective against the individual. It's what historians call a ritual civil execution. It's designed to destroy your reputation so completely that you're forced to conform just to survive professionally or socially. Think about this scenario. A company organizes a team-building outing. They choose a drag show venue. Now imagine an employee who is a practicing Sunni Muslim. This person wants to be a team player, but the venue directly violates the tenets of their faith. When they voice this concern, what happens? Are they met with the tolerance we're always told to value? No. Instead, they are branded as transphobic or homophobic in front of the entire staff. Their professional reputation is gutted in an afternoon. Their colleagues become afraid to even be seen with them. Ironically, the people shouting for inclusion are showing extreme intolerance toward this person's faith. This isn't progress. It's high-pressure bullying. If this feels like a tactic from a darker chapter of history, that's because it is. In communist regimes, public shaming was a state-sanctioned instrument of control. They had struggle sessions, mandatory meetings where you were forced to confess your ideological sins while your peers screamed insults at you. They used media humiliation and youth-led harassment to terrorize people into obedience. The goal was to destroy individual dignity so the state could take its place. Sound familiar? It's even more concerning when this is used to influence how you vote. If you're told that voting a certain way makes you a hateful person, that isn't a free election. That's coercion. If you can't express a political preference without fearing for your livelihood, you aren't living in a fully free society. If you have been targeted by this kind of behavior, please hear this. Historians and psychologists classify this as a form of psychological abuse and a violation of human rights. It causes real trauma, what we call humiliation trauma, but you can recover. First, reclaim your narrative. You have to externalize the trauma. Tell yourself, this is something that happened to me. It is not who I am. Don't let the state or a loud mob define your character. Second, regulate your nervous system. Public shaming puts your body into a freeze or shutdown state. Use somatic practices, things like box breathing or even just going for a run, to tell your brain that you are safe. Third, find a moral community. Shaming thrives on isolation. You need to find a group of people, friends, family, or support groups, who see you for who you actually are. When you realize you aren't alone, the shame loses its power. The goal of these tactics is to make you feel small. They want to convince you that your individuality doesn't matter and that you should just disappear. Don't. Talk about this behavior openly. When we shine a light on these struggle sessions, they lose their effectiveness. They also give people a hint on where to go look. Stand firm in your values and don't let a label take away your voice. If this resonated with you, please hit that like, share, and follow button. We need to get this message out. As always, thank you for listening.